So Kizza Besigye has just been arrested by the Ugandan government in Kenya and has now been brought to the court-martial, and now a case has been put against him. Well, in this edition of Legal News Daily, I'm going to discuss everything concerning why Kizza Besigye was arrested, what offense has been put against him, and most importantly, what can he do moving forward and what are the legal issues concerning his arrest. So let's go. Hi everyone, Terry Kahuma here. Welcome to this edition of Legal News Daily. Well, brief story. Kizza Besigye and a gentleman called Lutale were arrested and kidnapped in a hotel in the Westlands in Nairobi, which is the capital of Kenya. Now we find that he was abducted for about 4 days, but no one actually knew where he was. Later on it was discovered that he was indeed kidnapped and abducted by officials of the UPDF, which is the Uganda Police Defense Force, and they now drove Besigye and Lutale to Makindye Court, which is where the court-martial resides. Now, I want to look at the legal issues behind this. Number one, we find that they are charging Besigye with illegal possession of firearms under the Firearms Act of Uganda and the Penal Code Act. Now, these are the two major issues we're going to look at. Is Besigye indeed liable for possession of firearms? Because we find that the Ugandan government is accusing Kizza Besigye of possessing firearms, and number one, dealing with a number of different individuals in Greece, in Europe, and also in Kenya. So it is now said that the Kenyan government willingly gave Kizza Besigye there to be able to be arrested by the UPDF. Now, we find that the UPDF is accusing him of possessing firearms. We find that under the Firearms Act, anyone who possesses firearms illegally without having a proper firearms license, then they're liable for a number of years in jail and paying a fine. So this is about 10 and above years, and also you have to pay a fine. So Besigye and Lutale have to put in their defense because the prosecution is strongly against them. Now, the long story short is this. If they have proof that indeed Kizza Besigye actually has firearms or was possessing firearms at the moment when they arrested him in the Westlands in Kenya, then we find that the prosecution, which is Uganda versus Kizza Besigye and Lutale, they will actually have proof that Kizza Besigye actually possessed firearms and is indeed liable for 10 and above years in prison. But now that he has been put on remand, I've discussed remand on this channel many times, and you find that remand is a period of time where they put you in prison while a case is being put against you. An indictment is being put against Kizza Besigye and Lutale in this case. The indictment is illegal possession of firearms. That's Besigye, that's number one. So they're charging them for about 2 counts. Illegal possession of firearms, which is Besigye and Lutale, and also they might also even charge them for treason because they're going to ask themselves, why did Kizza Besigye and Lutale have firearms? What was their purpose? So the UPDF, being the Uganda People's Defense Force, will have to look into their matter and ask, why did they actually possess these firearms illegally without having a license? However, on the other side of it, Kizza Besigye is asking himself, why am I being tried in the court-martial of Uganda? Because I am no longer a serving officer. Kizza Besigye, as we all know, was part of UPDF in the earlier regime of President Museveni. However, he has then since retired, and now he's asking himself, the court-martial only has jurisdiction to try an acting officer of the UPDF, which is the Uganda People's Defense Forces. Now, Kizza Besigye, through his lawyers, is asking that if you're accusing me of illegal possession of firearms, do you have proof, number one? If you have proof, did you actually search my hotel room in the Westlands in Kenya? And most importantly, they should be asking themselves that why shouldn't I be taken to a civilian court? I've discussed so many courts. I've discussed the court system on this channel many times. We have the High Court, we have the Magistrates Courts, the Court of Appeal, but most importantly now, the court-martial is a sort of tribunal which heads over or presides over issues concerning military issues. These are maybe officers who have been maybe committing homicides, people have been killing. Basically, the court-martial is a court for acting army officers. So if an acting army officer has had illegal possession of firearms, then they need to be tried in a court-martial. But Kizza Besigye is saying, I have long since retired from the army, so why am I being tried in the court-martial? Now, those are a lot of illegalities that we're looking at there. So what can Kizza Besigye do moving forward? His lawyers have to, through, I think Elias Lukwago is his lawyer. His lawyer, Elias Lukwago, has to apply to a higher court, let's say the Magistrates Court or the High Court, to be able to take Kizza Besigye to another court where he will be tried as a civilian, but not in the court-martial, because the court-martial is for acting army officers. So I just wanted to bring all of that moving forward. They are saying Kizza Besigye has been put on remand until 2nd of December, and then that's when the first trial will begin. Until then, he has been put on remand. And remember, as we all discussed on this channel, time on remand is never time counted. So meaning that we're now going to start hearing things of mentions of cases, hearings. They have to present the evidence of the weapons, but let's just say everything is going to move forward. It's a bit unfortunate that the opposition is being attacked so much, and we find that illegal possession of firearms is something that may not actually stand, because if they have proof, then why not bring the proof immediately and then try him? So until next time, please let me know what I should talk about in a future video. I'll see you. Bye-bye.